Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
This time we're going to be cracking open Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like everybody's heard of this book.
Oh, for sure.
It's been a bestseller for years,
Yeah, it's one of those ones that just keeps coming up.
but it's also one that kind of stirs up some controversy.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's what makes it such a fascinating case study.
Yeah,
It's not just your typical how-to on managing money.
right.
It's told like through Kiyosaki's own life,
Yeah.
learning from these two dads in his life.
That's so interesting, right? Like
Yeah.
the contrasting perspectives is what really hooked me.
Oh, for sure.
You've got his highly educated but financially struggling biological father,
Right.
and then his rich dad, right? This
Yeah.
self-made businessman who dropped out of school
Uh-huh.
but had this amazing knack for building wealth.
Yeah, and that's where he really
Yeah.
challenges a lot of these ingrained ideas about money and success.
Total.
He's saying formal education doesn't guarantee financial security.
Right.
And sometimes those street smarts can be even more valuable.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the heart of Rich Dad, Poor Dad then.
Yeah.
What is the biggest concept from this book that completely changed how you think about building wealth?
I think for me, it's this idea that rich people don't work for money. Money works for them.
Okay.
And he illustrates this by, contrasting these two dads' approaches to income.
Right.
One focuses on just earning a paycheck,
Yeah.
trading your time for money, essentially, while the other one focuses on building assets.
And the book really hammers home that difference between assets and liabilities,
Yes,
which I think is so important because so many people
Yeah.
think of their house as their biggest asset.
totally. And he flips that on its head.
He does. He's like, no, no, no.
He argues that for most people, their house is a liability,
Wow.
not an asset.
Okay.
And it's all about the cash flow.
Okay.
A house, comes with a mortgage, property taxes, maintenance.
Constant maintenance.
All these things take money out of your pocket every month.
So even though it feels like this valuable possession you have,
Right.
if it's not generating income,
Yeah,
it's actually dragging you down financially.
exactly.
That's a really eye-opening perspective, I think, for a lot of people.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And so Rich Dad Poor Dad argues that, true wealth comes from owning things that put money into your pocket,
Okay.
like rental properties or businesses.
Right. So it's not just about how much you earn,
Uh-huh.
but how you structure your finances. So your money is working for you,
Yeah,
not the other way around.
100%.
But, even if someone listening is like, yeah, I get it, there's
Right.
that whole other side of it,
Yeah.
which is the psychological side of things.
Absolutely.
Like fear can be such a huge obstacle when it comes to money.
100%. And Kiyosaki acknowledges that fear of losing money.
Yeah.
But he also emphasizes that losers avoid failure,
Mm.
while failure turns losers into winners. It's not about seeking out failure,
Right.
but understanding that it can be a valuable stepping stone.
Oh, okay. So you're saying in order to build wealth,
Yeah.
you have to be willing to take those calculated risks,
Uh-huh.
knowing that you might not always succeed,
Right.
but each experience, win or lose,
Yeah.
offers valuable lessons.
Exactly. And that kind of ties into the book's discussion of overcoming pessimism, too.
Okay.
He uses that analogy of Chicken Little
Oh, yeah.
to describe those who just focus on the worst-case scenarios,
Right.
which can really make you miss out on opportunities.
Yeah.
He advocates for looking at the risks and the potential rewards.
Okay, so instead of getting caught in that, what if it goes wrong,
Exactly.
it's more like, how can I make this work?
Yes.
Yes.
And that shift takes a lot of self-discipline.
Okay.
Think about those lottery winners who end up broke.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad uses those examples
Yeah.
to highlight that having money doesn't mean financial success.
Right.
It's about having the discipline to manage it well.
So building wealth isn't just about luck or hard work.
Yeah.
It's about building financial intelligence.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, though, how does the book define financial intelligence?
That's a great question.
Because it's kind of a loaded term, right?
Yeah, it is a bit.
Yeah.
I think he defines it as the combination of knowledge, skills, and mindset
Okay.
to make smart decisions with your money.
Okay.
It's not just about understanding financial concepts.
Right.
It's about, being able to analyze opportunities, manage risk, adapt to changing market conditions.
So it's more than just being good at math.
Yeah,
It's about having that strategic approach to your finances.
exactly.
And I think this is where that idea of working to learn, not just to earn, really comes in.
100%.
Right.
He talks about taking those unconventional jobs,
Yeah.
like working for Xerox or serving in the Marines,
Uh-huh.
not for the paycheck, but for the skills they offered. Every experience was a chance to develop knowledge
Hmm.
that could be applied to future ventures.
That's such a powerful perspective.
Yeah.
So it's like recognizing that sometimes the most valuable lessons
Right.
come from experiences outside your comfort zone,
Uh-huh.
even if they don't directly lead to a big paycheck at the time.
Exactly. And it's not just jobs.
Right.
It's about continuous education in finances.
Yeah.
He stresses reading, attending seminars,
Yeah.
constantly seeking knowledge.
Okay, so let's say our listener is like, all right, I'm on board with this whole working to learn idea.
Okay.
How does the book suggest they actually go about finding these opportunities?
Well, he offers a whole toolkit
Okay.
from reading widely to networking with successful people
Okay.
to mastering multiple formulas for making money.
Got it.
But the biggest thing is action.
Okay.
Kiyosaki really argues that knowledge is only valuable if you apply it.
Right. So it's about turning that knowledge into action.
Yeah.
He even has that quote,
Yeah.
action always beats inaction.
Yes. And he gives some interesting real-world examples, like
Yeah.
looking for sale signs in overlooked neighborhoods.
Yeah, or analyzing gas station lines.
Or analyzing gas station lines.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah. So he suggests that these long lines at a gas station could indicate that locals anticipate a price increase
Interesting.
and are filling up beforehand.
Okay.
And this type of observation
Yeah.
can be applied to other markets as well.
So it's about training your mind
Yes.
to see potential investments
Uh-huh.
where other people might not even be looking,
Exactly.
and then having the courage to take action.
Absolutely.
But before we jump into specific strategies,
Okay.
I think it's important to also talk about the psychological barriers
Yes.
that can hold people back.
For sure.
Right, because we've talked about fear and pessimism,
Uh-huh.
but another one is just conformity,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like that feeling of, I should just be doing what everyone else is doing,
Right.
even if it's not the best for me.
Also. Yeah.
And he challenges you to question that,
Mm.
to think critically about conventional advice.
So instead of thinking, I have to buy a house, even if it stretches my budget,
Right.
it's more about defining your own path.
Yes. Define your own path to financial freedom.
So it's about breaking free from those ingrained beliefs about money
Yes.
and taking ownership of your financial future.
Absolutely.
But that can be really scary,
It can be.
especially if you've always followed a more traditional path.
Yeah. And that's why he also dedicates a lot of the book to managing arrogance.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. He argues that a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing.
Right.
And true financial intelligence
Yeah.
is recognizing your limitations
Uh-huh.
and seeking expert advice.
So it's about balancing that confidence
Yes.
with
Right.
humility,
100%.
knowing that you don't have all the answers,
Right.
and being willing to learn from those who are further along.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I think this is a great place to take a quick break. And we'll come back and dive into more Rich Dad, Poor Dad wisdom.
Sounds good. One thing that really stood out to me in Rich Dad, Poor Dad was how it demystifies the world of investing.
Yeah, it's not like getting lucky in the stock market or anything.
Right. Exactly.
It's not about some secret formula.
Yeah. Kiyosaki breaks it down into like these digestible chunks,
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
and it really empowers the reader to like make these informed decisions.
He really hammers home the importance of financial literacy.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, don't be intimidated by all these terms and all these numbers.
Yeah.
You can understand this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the book's focus on financial statements comes in.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people kind of tune out
Wow.
because spreadsheets, numbers can be pretty daunting.
Yeah.
But the book argues that, like, understanding your financial statements
Yeah.
is key to taking control of your money.
It's like having this X-ray vision
Oh,
into your finances.
I like that.
You can see beyond the surface. You understand where your money's coming from and going to.
Right.
And you can make those informed decisions about how to optimize everything.
So it's not just about knowing your bank balance.
Right?
It's about understanding the story behind the numbers.
Yes, exactly.
And to do that, you need to understand that difference between assets and liabilities.
Exactly. And he drives this point home
Yeah.
again and again.
Yeah, he does.
An asset,
Yeah.
in his definition, is anything that puts money into your pocket.
Okay.
That could be rental property, a business stocks that pay dividend.
Okay, so like passive income.
Yeah, passive income.
Okay.
Exactly. And then a liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket.
Like your mortgage car payments.
Yeah, your credit card debt.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah, the stuff nobody wants to talk about.
Right, exactly. And it's about understanding the impact
Yes.
that all those expenses have on your financial health.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And this is where he kind of diverges from traditional thinking. Most people just focus on increasing their income.
Right, get that raise, get that promotion.
Exactly. And they end up in the rat race.
Rat race.
Yeah.
They work harder, make more money.
Right.
But their expenses rise right along with it.
Exactly. Bigger house, fancier car.
Yep.
Still trading time for money.
Still in that race.
It's just at a higher level.
Wow. Yeah, that's a really good point.
And so it's not just about earning more.
Yeah.
It's about changing your relationship with money.
Okay.
Creating that system where it works for you.
Got it. And that's where this idea of minding your own business comes in.
Yes.
Which I think can be a little confusing.
It can be.
Because people hear that and they're like, wait, I got to quit my job and become an entrepreneur.
Right. It's not necessarily about that.
Okay.
It's more about cultivating that entrepreneurial mindset,
Okay.
even if you are working for someone else.
So taking ownership of your financial future
100%.
rather than just being passive. Okay, so it's about being proactive.
Yes.
Looking for those opportunities to build assets, even beyond your regular job.
Exactly. And that's where I think the book really shines.
Yeah.
Because it gives you all these examples and strategies.
Okay, like what?
From real estate investing to starting your own business. And all of these come from his experiences.
Right, like those unconventional jobs.
Yeah.
Xerox the Marines.
Taught him valuable lessons about sales, leadership, navigating complex systems.
And he applied those to his businesses.
Exactly.
So it's about seeing the world as your classroom.
Right.
Finding those opportunities to learn.
Yeah.
In these unexpected places. And sometimes the most valuable lessons.
Yeah.
Are going to come from experiences that don't seem directly related to your financial goals at the time.
Yes, connecting those dots.
Wow.
And seeing how those seemingly random experiences can contribute to your overall financial intelligence.
And he even talks about analyzing gas station lines as an indicator of fuel price increases.
Right. Wait, how does that even work?
So he noticed that long lines at certain stations
Okay.
could indicate that locals expect prices to rise. So they fill up beforehand.
So it's about being observant.
Yes.
And connecting those seemingly random events to potential opportunities.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's a real hallmark of Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
So it's about training your mind to spot these hidden gems, these opportunities that other people might be overlooking.
Yeah, because they're not actively looking for them.
Right. And then, of course, you have to have the courage to take action.
Exactly. You have to act.
Yeah.
And that's where his focus on mastering multiple formulas comes in.
Okay, so diversifying your income streams?
Exactly. Not putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right. Okay, but that can feel so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially when you're just starting out.
It can.
So where do you even begin? Well, he encourages people to start small.
Okay.
Pick one area that you're interested in and dive in.
Okay.
That could be real estate, could be starting a side hustle, even just learning about the stock market.
Got it.
The key is to just do it.
Okay.
Gain that experience.
Yeah, okay.
Learn from your mistakes.
Because you're going to make mistakes.
Oh, you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
For sure.
But the book kind of reframes those as learning opportunities.
Yeah.
Right.
A chance to get better.
A chance to improve your strategy.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so that ties back to the importance of mindset.
Yes.
We talked about overcoming fear and pessimism.
Yeah.
But another one is challenging conformity.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like breaking free from those societal expectations that might be holding you back.
Like the need for a fancy car.
Exactly.
Or a huge house.
Yeah, like those things that society tells you you need to be successful.
Right. He encourages you to define your own version of success. Make decisions that align with your values.
Okay, so thinking differently.
Yes.
Questioning those assumptions and forging your own path.
Exactly.
But it's also about recognizing that you don't have all the answers.
That's right. That's where managing arrogance comes in.
Okay.
He says, don't let your ego get in the way.
Okay.
Seek expert advice. Recognize your limitations.
Right.
Be willing to learn from those who've already done it.
So it's about finding that balance
Yes.
between confidence and humility.
Exactly.
Knowing your strengths, but also when to ask for help.
Absolutely. And that leads us to the power of mentorship.
Oh, yeah. Mentorship is huge.
Huge. He talks about surrounding yourself with people
Yeah.
who are smarter than you,
Okay.
who've achieved what you want,
Uh-huh.
who are willing to share their knowledge.
And he even says you should pay your advisors well.
He does. Because they can save you
Yeah.
so much time and money and heartache.
Yeah, like they can help you avoid costly mistakes. Open doors to new opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah. So mentorship is an investment.
It is.
It's not an expense.
Not at all.
And it's not just about experts, right?
Yeah.
It's also about learning from your peers.
Yeah, people on a similar journey.
Building that network
Yes.
of like-minded individuals,
Exactly.
providing that support.
The accountability, the inspiration.
Yeah, and I think that's something that can be overlooked when you're talking about financial success.
Yeah.
It's not just about individual effort.
It's about community.
It's about building that community
100%.
that supports you.
Yeah. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad also talks about giving back.
Oh, yeah.
Using your wealth to make an impact.
He was a big believer in philanthropy.
He was.
Yeah.
Big time.
But I'm curious, how does giving away money lead to having more money?
Well, it's about creating that cycle of abundance.
Okay.
When you give,
Yeah.
whether it's your time, money, or expertise,
Uh-huh.
you're putting positive energy out there. And it often comes back to you.
In unexpected ways.
Exactly.
So it's not about expecting a direct return.
Right.
It's about creating positive flow.
Yes.
Both financially and personally.
Yeah. And it could look like a lot of different things.
Like what?
You know, donating to charities, mentoring entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
starting a business that helps people.
So aligning your financial goals with your values.
Yes.
Recognizing that wealth is about more than just money.
100%.
It's about meaning and impact.
Yeah.
And speaking of impact,
Okay.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad really emphasizes taking action.
Yes.
It's filled with those motivational quotes.
Yeah, like action always beats inaction.
Yes.
You miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah, he really believed that knowledge without action is useless.
Totally. You can read all the books, go to all the seminars.
Have the best mentors?
Yeah, but if you don't do anything,
Nothing's going to happen.
nothing's going to change.
So it's about turning that knowledge into power,
yeah.
taking those ideas. Uh-huh.
And putting them into practice.
Absolutely. But that can be intimidating.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you're just starting out.
It can be.
Yeah.
And that's why he encourages you to start small,
Okay.
take calculated risks,
Uh-huh.
and learn from your mistakes.
So experimenting.
Yeah,
Learning from experience
Yes.
and not being afraid to mess up.
right. Because there's no one right way
Okay.
to build wealth.
So it's about finding what works for you.
Yeah,
Adapting and evolving your strategies.
exactly. And I think that's really empowering
It is. Yeah.
because it's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about progress.
It's about taking those small steps
Yeah.
consistently.
Over time.
And eventually they'll lead to bigger results.
Exactly.
Okay, and that brings us back to mindset.
It always comes back to mindset.
It does, right?
Believing in yourself,
Yeah.
trusting your gut, having that persistence.
That grit.
Yeah, to keep going.
Even when it's tough.
Yeah. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad reminds you.
That the path to financial freedom isn't always easy.
There's going to be bumps.
There's going to be challenges,
Yeah.
setbacks, moments of doubt.
Totally.
But it's about having that resilience to get back up and keep going.
So embrace the journey.
Yes.
Learn from every experience and never give up on that dream
Exactly.
of financial freedom.
That's it.
And I think that's such a great message to leave our listener with.
Yeah. It's about remembering that you have more control
Yeah.
than you think. You have the power.
You have the power to make those choices.
Yes. To take action.
Yeah.
To create the life you want.
And it all starts with that first step.
Yes.
Okay, so as we get ready to transition into the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore some more specific strategies,
Oh, good.
we want to leave you with a question. What's one small, concrete action you can take today,
Yeah.
inspired by Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah.
to start building your own path
Your own path
just to financial freedom?
to financial freedom. Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered so much ground,
We have.
you know, from mindset shifts to financial literacy.
Yeah.
But let's get practical now.
Okay.
What are some actual takeaways from Rich Dad, Poor Dad
Yeah.
that our listener can put into action?
Well, one that really comes to mind is this idea that the rich invent money
Okay, I've got to admit, that one always sounds a little cryptic to me.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Yeah, it's not about like printing your own cash or
That's
something.
good.
It's more about recognizing that money isn't just something you earn from a job.
Okay.
It's something you can create through your own ideas,
Okay.
investments,
Okay.
and by using your financial intelligence.
So shifting from that scarcity mindset
Yes.
to one of abundance.
Exactly.
Seeing those possibilities instead of limitations.
Uh-huh. And that kind of ties into another takeaway,
Okay.
giving before you receive.
Okay.
Kiyosaki really believed in that.
Yeah, he was really passionate about philanthropy.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
But how does giving away money lead to having more money?
Well, it's about creating that cycle of abundance.
Okay.
When you give generously,
Yeah.
whether it's time, money, or expertise,
Okay.
you put out good energy,
Mm-hmm.
and it often comes back to you.
In unexpected ways.
Exactly.
So it's not about expecting something in return right away. It's about creating a good flow in your life.
Uh-huh. Both financially and personally.
And that generosity can take a lot of forms.
It can.
Like, what are some examples?
Well, donating to charity,
Okay.
mentoring entrepreneurs,
Uh-huh.
starting a business that solves a problem.
So it's about aligning those financial goals with your values.
Exactly.
Recognizing that wealth is about more than just money.
Yes, it's about creating a life
Okay.
of meaning.
Meaning and impact.
Impact, yes.
And speaking of impact,
Yeah.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad really emphasizes taking action.
Oh, absolutely.
It's full of those motivational quotes.
Yes. Action always beats inaction.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's the one.
Yeah, he really believed that knowledge without action is useless.
100%. You can read all the books you want.
Yeah.
Go to all the seminars.
Have the best mentors in the world.
But if you don't do anything,
Nothing changes.
nothing happens.
So it's about putting those ideas into practice.
Yes. Turning that knowledge into power.
But I imagine that can be really intimidating,
It can be.
especially when you're first starting out.
Yeah, and that's why he encourages you to start small.
Okay.
Take those calculated risks
Okay.
and learn from your mistakes.
So experimenting.
Yeah,
Not being afraid to mess up.
exactly. Because there's no one right way to build wealth.
Okay, so finding what works for you.
Yeah,
Adapting and evolving your strategies.
100%. And I think that's really empowering.
It is, yeah.
It's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about progress.
It's about those small steps.
Yeah, consistently over time.
And they'll lead to big results.
Exactly.
And of course, that brings us back to mindset.
Always back to mindset.
It always does, right?
Believing in yourself, trusting your gut.
Yeah. Having the persistence to keep going
That's it.
when things get tough.
Yeah, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad reminds you that the path to financial freedom
Mm-hmm.
isn't always smooth sailing.
No, there are going to be bumps in the road.
There are going to be challenges.
Yeah, moments of doubt.
Absolutely.
All right.
But it's about having the resilience to bounce back.
Okay, so embrace the journey.
Yes.
Learn from everything.
Learn from everything.
And don't give up.
Don't give up on that dream of financial freedom.
And that's such a powerful message to leave our listener with.
It is. It's about remembering that you have more control over your finances
Yeah.
than you think you have the power to make choices, to take action, to create the life you want.
And it all starts with that first step.
That first step.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah.
we want to leave you with a question.
Okay.
What's one small action you can take today?
Inspired by the book
Okay.
to start building your own path to financial freedom.
It could be anything from opening a savings account to researching a new investment to talking to a financial advisor.
The point is just start somewhere.
Yes, start somewhere.
Take that first step and keep moving forward.
Keep learning.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
We hope you learned something.
And remember, financial success is a journey, not a destination.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
So keep learning, keep growing, and keep building your financial intelligence.
And we'll see you next time.